As the room fill up, be sure to hit the like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Really appreciate each and every last one of you all. I hope your weekend was great. Let's go. One day at a time, one movement at a time, brick by brick, we stack it together, seeing what we can build. We're going to talk about Cowboys, everything new, and being ready is needed. It's necessary. It's a must. People say, ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Law Nation groove? Straight out of Law Nation Studios, yours truly, Law Nation Sports. 5, 4, 3, 2, and come on. As the road fill up, be sure to smash, and I mean just that, smash upon the like button. Help the nation out as we grow. As I grow, we all grow, right? The Cowboys this offseason been very intriguing. We've made better steps this offseason than what we did the previous year. This season we have Stephon Gilmore, a guy that got him hardware, a guy that played with a team with understanding of defense. I believe he at one point was Defensive Player of the Year. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Also, we didn't go out there and grab a James Washington, not to throw any salt or shade at him, but to throw just a little bit of salt at him. We went and got a Brandon Cooks, right? So we know collectively on a sheet of paper we are better. We are better than what we were last season. Around this time last season, Damone Clark, he wasn't working out with the team. He was just watching, right? Going through his rehab and trying to get things together, right? And we can say the same with Michael Gallup. Shout out to him. Appreciate what he is or will bring to the table. We like to know those things, and that's just what it is. Far as the other news of it, there are some news out there. Far as Antonio Callaway, I want to bring this up though, ladies and gentlemen. He was arrested this past weekend, and I'm telling people, far as the Cowboys information, just want to put this out there, that when we start going over things, just keep this in mind. When you are a Cowboy player, your information will be spread about quickly, and it will be out there on the news, and everybody will go ahead and paint that, hey, this dude's a troublemaker. Now, he was arrested for a suspended driver's license in the state of Florida. And we all know that you got to have your license in order to drive. And if it's suspended, it's just like you don't have your license. So I don't know what the Cowboys' next move will be, but sometimes some people will have some issues following them, right? But it's not for us to judge said player. It's for us to see if the guy can make it out there on the field, and then it will be our time to judge him. But far as his decision-making of fines that he didn't pay for, suspended driver license, we can all say, hey, that's zero excuses. You're a grown man, right? You got to take care of your responsibilities there. Appreciate you, Sadiq. Thank you so much for your love and your support with the Super Chat. Thank you so much. Says, Law, welcome back. I pray all is well with you and your family. Appreciate you, Sadiq. We all go through things, right? Whether it's tangible or not. Yeah. But I appreciate you for your prayers and your love, and I thank you so much. SL Green says, Law, your boy LB Petty, pretty much said Trevor Lawrence and Geno Smith is better than Dak. Earlier, shaking my head, and them Eagles on a good smoke over there early, I see. So shout out to you, SL Green. Everyone, and we're going to get into that. But before we get into this all together, let me see if I can bring this up. I just want to showcase to you guys the NFL player arrest database record since 2000. Now, I'm just going to bring this in for context, and then we get into confirmations about other things. But, of course, we see Keith Smith here. He was the most recent guy that was pulled over for suspended license. Did that make the front page news? Did everybody, mama, uncle, cousin talked about that? I don't think so. If they do, the report line may say former Cowboy player. You know, that's how that's going to say. The other person that's on this list is Chris Claybrook, right? Did that make any news? Did the 4-letter, the 3-letter, or any letter network talked about this DV? Did anybody talk about this domestic violence from Chris Claybrooks? No, I don't think so. This is Winfrey, Cleveland defensive tackle, domestic violence. Did anybody talk about that? Now I need to know. Oh, let me talk about this. This dude right here, January the 31st, 2023, Josh Seals, or however you say that man's name, for the Philadelphia Eagles, indicted for rape and kidnapping. You know, did anybody talk about that from Philly, right? And this dude, Charles, from San Francisco land, DV, domestic violence. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get with what I'm saying? So I think that only domestic violence will happen if it's a Cowboy player. If it's somebody with the silver and blue. Anybody else, it don't really count, right? The fist to the face don't really count if it's anyone else. It's only a count if it's a Cowboy player. See, I just want to let y'all know that people will always sully and denigrate the Dallas Cowboys. But there will be one person that will stand tall to spit the truth. And whether or not they like it or not, it will be Law Nation. I will go ahead and rightly divide it and say, hey, these are the things that's happening around the world as well, juxtaposed to a guy that may have forgot to pay an old fine far as a driver license. But that driver license, a guy that didn't pay his driver license that wears silver and blue, is more important, and it will be front page news juxtaposed to someone kidnapping, juxtaposed to someone raping or domestic violence as well, right? You know, so that's just how it goes. When you heaviest the crown, when you wear the silver and blue on, it counts double, multiple. The expectations will always be different, even within the confines of how it's reported from the local media. Today, it will be live at 8 o'clock, the final word. We're going to adjust the show to have it Monday juxtaposed to Tuesday, and we're going to have a conversation, sit down with the mighty Brian Broaddus, right? We're going to talk about the Dak Prescott situation. We're going to talk about, the whole conversation about Dak interceptions or turnovers is in his DNA, right? We're going to go over that, and I'm going to hear him out. I didn't get a chance to hear or see the video of my guy, Boss Cowboys Sports, and Jay Tuck going over Brian Broaddus' comments there on that. So hopefully this will be a situation and scenario that we can make sure that everything is okay, right? Right, we're big Brian Broaddus. So we will be having a joint show tonight. So turn your notifications on if you want to hear all of that. But neither here nor there. Speaking of how news is being handled and how news is being generated, there's my sound effects, y'all. Let me switch over to my guy, John Machota. Shout out to Foots the King. And shout out to John Machota for jumping on other content creators' platforms and talking. He's one of my go-to guys. If you ever need information and knowing that it's going to be accurate without all of the wee-woo stuff, right? Without all of the false other stuff, go to John Machota. Man, check that brother out. He's going to deliver the good stuff without all of the in-between. So here's another thing. By us having visibility, by us having ownership willing to talk The more you talk, the more the opposing people know, and the more the fan base know the temperaments and the temperature of this organization and franchise. What I'm going to tell you here is from what John Machota asked, or, what was given at this particular meeting. I don't know if we got audio on this. Maybe it will be somewhere later down the line. But here it is right here. Cowboys, Stephen Jones, I'm paraphrasing. They asked him, is he still interested in DeAndre Hopkins? He said he's not on the team right now. I'm speaking like we from Mississippi. We all from Mississippi. We went down that road before, row it before with Brandon Cooks. We are very comfortable with Cooks. We're really pleased with our receiving group. Now, I'm going to say this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all around the world. The more you know, the more things you can add into, right? See, sometimes it's better to not say anything at all. What if somebody twists an ankle, sprain a knee, right? What if somebody gets sick? What if somebody have a DUI, you know what I'm saying, or a driver license suspended, right? Why not bring in this dude, right? DeAndre Hopkins. But by it being the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to be talked about the most because we give that information out the most, it leaves the room for us to put our opinions out there. So shout out to you, Action Powell. Thank you. He says, Law, you are on one today. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So let me know in the chat. Do you guys think that the Cowboys should recant their conversation and say, yeah, man, we leave no stone unturned. We like our guys. But if the price is right, DeAndre Hopkins can play for us. Would that be a better way? Or you say nothing. But by us being one of the people that got the owner and the owner's son able to talk, we get all of this information out there. I'm quite sure right now, according to the information that's available, if you are a player that's a free agent, that's a veteran, right? He should be able to pick his own team. The only thing that's separating DeAndre Hopkins to a team is money. Is money. And 9 times out of 10, teams that's looking at older wide receivers will at least like to see what they got first and seeing if that person can turn heads and do something for them, So I don't mind the Cowboys with that statement. Nevertheless, I just wish the Cowboys don't give out that information, if you guys following me with what I'm saying. And the money, sometimes people will have their price too high. Who sung that song back in the days? Cut it. That price is too high. You got to cut it. However that song goes, sometimes your price can be just too high, And DeAndre Hopkins, he may be asking for king's ransom, and I don't know. And we don't know. But I'm going to tell you, we said cut it. Their price is too high. We got to cut it, So that's just what it is. Appreciate OG Genesis. Appreciate that's who's OT. Oh, is it OT or OG, man? Was he a one-hit wonder? Do he do any other songs, But he must have cut it, But let me cut it right quick, But the thing is, you need to cut it, I might have to find that drop, you know what I'm saying? Damn. Yeah, baby. Whoa. So in other news, speaking of price tags and bags, baby, I got my dog, man, my brother from another mother, man, who got a brother that's in the NFL too, Stephon Diggs. And we talking about Trayvon Diggs right about now. All right, cool. This information is out there, right? I'm going to tell you guys, the beautiful people that's watching, for those who hit me up about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, y'all was right. You said, I remember the episode I said, who should they pay first? And I was sitting there telling you guys, extend Dak Prescott. You know, that's be the fastest way to make sure that you have coins for Terrence Steele, for Trayvon Diggs, for CeeDee Lamb, even possibly for, dare I say, Michael Parsons next season. But it appears, according to this guy right here, Dove, he's saying basically the market value for cornerback is around $20 million. It's north of that, by the way. Diggs is currently set to play his final year of his rookie deal of $4.3 million, right? So Diggs going to get that bag, whether or not it's for the Cowboys or for another team. The Cowboys got the ability for next season to put the brother on a franchise tag, and you guys know what I feel about how I feel about the franchise tag. I really don't like the franchise tag. Oh, no, I really don't like the franchise tag. But to give us some agreements here, I do like the notion that the Dallas Cowboys, starting now, the negotiation phase. Now, although it was information stating that the lack of participation from Trayvon Diggs at OTAs had nothing to do with this, right? Nothing to do with the money aspect of it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, pigs can fly if you really believe it. You know, to put this out there, you know, not to put lipstick on a pig, but to say this right here, I'm going to think that pigs can fly, right? Depending on the depth and the height you throw them off of the cliff from. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to drop real quickly from that information that was told, right? We all know that this brother, he want that bag. And down the line, we will find out more of whether or not the player will try to do that holdout thing. But the NFL and their ability, hear me out, put the butter knife down, from the negotiation aspect of it, right, versus the players union. The NFL have one of the worst players unions in the world, right? So meaning that they already agree to be at those practices, to be available if they are still under contract, that even if they skip out or hold out, the money that they are getting fined, they will not be able to recoup it because the bargaining agreement is set in stone, right? So it will not allow players to hold out. So somehow, even though Trayvon Diggs will not have the ability, mark this down, to hold out because of the collective bargaining agreement, there still could be tensions with this. Just go ahead and pay the man, you know, and get this thing going the best way possible. Action Powell says Diggs should have been done. Yeah, Diggs deal should have been done. Too broke to pay attention. Appreciate you. He says, Law, the smart thing to do would be to extend Dak first to make sure you know how much money you will have to work with. However, when you have someone like Diggs, you need to take care of it. You're right, too broke. You 1,000,000% right with all of that assessment there. If you guys like what you're hearing so far, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, share this content, right? We don't bust you all over the head with commercial breaks and things of that nature. We just tell you, man, hey, like is the best currency, right? And that is the best way to get things going. And I really, really, really appreciate you guys as we go to the next segment here. Be sure to understand that the Cowboys themselves, we always will have the spotlight. We will always get the first deal of the attention from all networks. But speaking of that, the main piece of this conversation will start with this guy by the name of CeeDee Lamb. I'm just going to tell you guys, he's the other guy that we got to bring in and talk about, because although Diggs, we like what he brings to the table from a defensive aspect, I think that when you start going back into the history of the NFL, when it's time to lift up that Lombardi trophy, you always know that there's a similarity with those teams that won the Super Bowl. And that similarity will be the fact that you had one of these guys, a wide receiver, right? Even when it was in the earlier parts of when Roger Staubach was throwing the ball around, you had that wide receiver, right, that everybody can look back at and say, yeah, the wide receivers was it, dog, yeah. And then when you think of the 90s, Troy Aikman, you had that wide receiver, right? So, and even if you go to other teams like the 49ers, they had that wide receiver. I don't even, look, it's to the degree that I don't even have to name the wide receiver, and you know the wide receiver name already, right? So, to a degree, you got to take care. You got to take care of the wide receiver, Law. You know, there is only one team that I can think of in the last 30 years that really didn't have that household name at wide receiver. They had a collections of wide receiver and good defense, but they had for dog sure a good tight end. And that team is the Patriots, right? But everybody else, you kind of leaned on the wide receivers, even if it's Antonio Holmes for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? There's always that wide out that you can remember that, hey, that wide receiver made that movement, that moment, that ability to change the game. And if we look at the Kansas City Chiefs and their last Super Bowl, of course, we can't really pinpoint a wide receiver in that particular role, but we for dog sure can listen to some of the pundits and the analysts to say, man, Travis Kelce, right? Right. It's a tight end, but he's primarily a wide receiver. Appreciate y'all, man. Baltimore, yeah. You're right, Action. You got me on that one. Baltimore, we can throw in the Baltimore. Baltimore and the Patriots, right? You know. All right, we've been asking for a CB now. Pay him his worth. Appreciate you, Chris. But let's listen to CeeDee Lamb right now.
Verbiage, of course. Pick up on here early in these installs.
Can y'all hear audio?
Honestly, the new verbiage, of course. Whole new scheme. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot thrown at you at once. You know, you're taking the time at OTAs to really build, you know, bond and grow together, and understand the assignments that, you know, that's placed upon each and every one of us that's in this locker room. And man, I can't wait to see it all unfold.
Is there a big difference at this point?
No, not necessarily a big difference, but still offense, still fast-paced, still, you know, going to take our shots when we need to, run the ball. I mean, overall, it's about, you know, finishing the end of games and being the best team of 2023.
What's it like to adjust to some of the differences in the offense?
Before he goes into that, when you're talking about new verbiage, right, there's still an adjustment. We'd be fools to think that there's no actual newness of it as it relates to the new offensive scheme. You know, the audio is great. Appreciate y'all. I got some kickback, man. Jacoby Taylor said, "Not the 2000 Ravens." Well, that team itself, we'll say the Patriots and the Ravens. Those are only two of the last 30 years that you don't know of the wide receivers. And I could be shortchanging the 2000 Ravens wide receiver, you know, but they did had one hellacious running attack. Priest Holm and Jamal Lewis, man, you shoot that. Who needs a wide receiver when you got both of those backs, right? And on top of that, let me say this too. The other one, when they had Rice and they had the kid that had the kickoff return, he was very underrated as far as his speed. I think his name was Jacoby or something like that. I could be off. But you still had that namesake of a wide receiver doing something, right? And that's what all I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, But at the same time, for Cowboys history, you needed a wide receiver in order to win the Super Bowl. Old Shay. Yeah, Jacoby. Yeah, old Shay. Technically, Shannon Sharp was pretty much your first version of those tight ends being able to be coming from a wide receiver's perspective over to that alleyway lane. Shay Sharp was that dude, respectfully. He was a wide receiver, transitioned over to a tight end, right? Run some good routes, decent speed, and open up doorways and alleyways for your Antonio Gates, your Gonzalez's of the worlds, and who else? I know I'm leaving out someone. Ben Coates was really nice too, but I think Ben Coates, y'all help me out, man. Boy, y'all open up some good conversations now. It's Ben Coates. Ben Coates is in the same era as Shay Sharp, right? Is he in the same era, right? Jay Novacek was that dude for us, Mr. Third Down. Dwight Clark, yeah. Kellen Winslow Sr., yeah. Kellen Winslow Sr. was that dude, yeah. So Ben Gates was after Shay Sharp, right? He was just after. They kind of went together, right? But when we think of Gonzalez and we think of tight ends in general, even if you throw in Is he part of that? Jason Witten is a little bit part of that. Nah, I ain't gonna put Jason Witten in there. But I got to, man. Him and Antonio Gates for a long period of time. It's like when I think of Jason Witten, and y'all let me know, check me if it's Homer, but I doubt it. If it's fully Homer, you got to give some respect to Jason Witten. Got to, man. Got to, man. And you seen literally tight ends come and go, right? The Shockeys of the worlds and other tight ends like Jimmy Graham. He was phenomenal, but you seen how they came and go, right? Martellus Bennett, he was really nice, but it is what it is. Get your money, Diggs, from Brand A. You're right. Jason Witten was just so consistent. There you go. Vernon Davis was so nice to be able to get into this space and seeing him being able to elevate his game, right? And it took coaching. It took coaching to step up and fight Vernon Davis, right? Was it Mike Singletary, right? Said, I can't have him, I don't want him, or something like that. And he turned the corner, right? And I think that even Vernon Davis' brother, he needed a Mike Singletary because I think that collectively their family must have thin skin, because I think that Vernon Davis' brother, he quit like second quarter, third quarter, they getting blown out, and he was like, man, I quit, man, I can't take this no more, man. Charles says Julius Thomas. Julius Thomas was a real nice tight end, but it couldn't stay healthy, right? Heath Miller, that's a guy that I wanted to say Chris 214 was very good for Algie Crumpler. Yeah, Algie Crumpler. Yes, I remember playing with him on Madden. He would catch everything but move like a snail himself. Yeah, so let's just get it done. Let's listen to more of this. Appreciate y'all.
When the tempo is not as fast as you guys are used to for this time of year, does it help going slower, or are you ready and kind of
ready to go? But I mean, this is the point in time where you got to be patient.
Brent Jones,
take
yes.
care of your body, spend time with your family, because when it's time to actually get going and up and running again, I mean, you got to be bought in, because we got the end goal, and overall, you kind of got to. I mean, this is a new offense for us, so right now I feel like the best time for us is to be slow. Take it one day at a time.
no disrespect to some of the wide receiver free agents out there, but does it frustrate you guys as I know you're getting a lot of work away from the facility and working together? Do you guys feel like you've got the guys in the room right now to get this done in that wide receiver room?
Absolutely. By us, adding B Cooks, and then, we got MG back healthy.
Right.
And then, of course, me. And then all the other guys, we got Turk. We got a lot of other guys that can really just make plays and is very fast, very young, and has very fresh legs. So very confident in each and every one of them.
Jalen Tolbert, where are you seeing him develop?
Oh, no, he's gotten better. Route running, his ability to catch in traffic, his confidence is growing. And you can see it. And day by day as we go, he's continuing to ask questions. He's staying late after meetings. So you can tell the determination is there. And all you got to do is just keep working, and I'll tell him the same thing. And if you want to work with me, he can. I'll give him, tips. And, if you want to work on his own, just always look to be better.
No doubt. So he said one of my key words, and that determination. And in order to be successful in life, you got to have dedication, determination, and you got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined as well with your determination. And that itself will work it whole entirety out for you, right? So he said basically if Jalen Tolbert want to be better or be best at what he do, he can work out with me or he can work out with himself. But he is a guy that's staying late and he's asking, hey, what this is for, why I need to do this, why I need to do that. And it goes back to the same philosophy and principle, even when we had my guy here, Amari Cooper. I think that they had some of those documentaries that even we saw a snippet of, I think it was HBO, Hard Knocks. And CeeDee Lamb approached Amari Cooper and said, hey, man, I need to work on my release game. How do I need to get better at that? He could be selfish. Both ends could have been selfish and say, you know what, I'm not finna show you any extra move so that you can be better than me. No, I'm going to keep these to myself precious, right? But no. You see, the whole philosophy and the principle of it is that I'm going to humble myself and I'm going to show the youth how to do it. And then hopefully they would take that bead of advice or concepts of what I'm preaching or what I'm teaching, and they would do the same. So now it's time for my brother, CeeDee Lamb, to do the same for Jalen Tolbert. And Jalen Tolbert is all ears. And I love knowing that this team is not selfish to that degree, that they are willing to say, hey, I can help you, because if I help you, you help me. And if you help me, we helping the entire team. What do team means? Together, everyone achieves more, right? Let's go.
The faster group since you've been here?
I didn't say that. I said this is a fast group.
What was the fastest group?
I don't know, because I'm taking Terp over pretty much anybody. But Coop going to have something to say about that. So, you know what I'm saying? I like this room now. Yeah, for sure.
What have you gotten?
Cooks, and that brings a lot more speed.
Absolutely. But so technically, in a sense, it could be one of the fastest rooms that I've been in, and I love it. The experience is there also. So, man, it's all about us making plays.
What does MG look like coming back? He said he's springy.
Yeah, he is, and right now in this point in time, you gotta keep him on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, he want to show everybody how springy he is, which we know how.
Let's talk about.
And, he's very excited, and I can't wait to camp for him to actually unleash and then show everybody what he can actually do at this position and what he can do for us as a team.
What have you learned from?
Right now.
Oh yeah.
No doubt, y'all. This is 1,000% the truth. When you think of it, sometimes you gotta hold back some stuff, man. And this dude, Michael Gallup, last season, it doesn't matter how you guys feel about his skill set and his play. We can all know that he wasn't this springy guy that we're seeing right now. he didn't bring that to the table. He had some of it. I think I go back and I watched the Colts game. I think, did he have 2 tubs in that game or 1? I think he had, how many touchdowns? Did he have 2 or 1 in that Colts game? Y'all help me out. I think he had 2. And that was probably his better game. But you can tell that his his releases were not as polished. And I think he had another, he could have had 3 tubs in that game. But I think in that game, y'all can help me out, was the sunlight in the face. But I know for sure he had a game where he had 2 tubs. And we seen some of it, but his burst and acceleration wasn't all the way there at his highest peak. So what I'm saying, and shout out to you, Al, he did had 2 in that game, right? And I want you guys to go back and look at those 2 touchdowns that he had in the Colts game. Go back and look at it. You know, you will see that, hey, he got something there, but it wasn't to the degree where he used to have that extra spring action. And he's never been that guy to give gaudy acceleration or gaudy separations, you know. So, but he is a guy that can high point the ball, bring it down. I call him Mr. Third Down, and he was a sideline master, right? Anything on the sideline, he can catch it. He can bring it. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm just ready to play, quite honestly. I love the team, building the bonds with these guys, and just continuing to come here every day to learn. I'm a learner. I love to learn, love to listen, and just feel the vibe. The vibe feels different. You know, everybody's coming to work, happy to come to work, and start this over again.
What have your impressions been of Brandon Cooks, and what have you gotten from having him in the room with you?
My impressions of him? I mean, it's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? Great player, great teammate. You know, he's very experienced. You know, I get on him. Everybody pretty much older than me. You know, he in year 10, so, you know, I crack a couple jokes there. But, no, that's my boy. Kind of getting together on and off the field, filling him out, you know, as a person and not so much as a teammate, and understanding him. So when we get on the field, it's almost like second nature. You know what I'm saying? So just being out there with him is a great time, and understanding that he's a playmaker. And anytime he making a play is a big play.
How much does his speed open it up for you guys? And what he can do, take top off the defense, things like that?
Love his speed. When I saw it the first day, you know, I'm once again, I'm a visual learner, and I'm just watching him as he, you know, run his routes, the way he prep, the way he, you know, get ready for practice, and how he goes about his business.
Everything
I
new.
love each and every part of it. And I mean, he's a professional to a T. My coach told me, you know, bringing him in will be the best thing for me, and it is, because I can learn from him on and off the field, you know what I'm saying, and how to move around and, you know, how to be approachable.
One of Brandon's biggest things is investing in your body and making sure you're taking care of yourself. Have you already started to kind of adopt some of his techniques as far as how he's been able to continue to be an impact player?
I've taken care of my body since coming into the league, because I've taken, you know, my own fair share of hits and bruises, if you will. But
no doubt,
definitely, I'm asking him, like, he hasn't had, God forbid, he hasn't missed any season, you know what I'm saying? So
knock on wood, y'all.
For him to play at that high of a level for this volume over time, I mean, it's self-explanatory if you ask me.
CD, through this offseason and the training camp, what is the one thing you're trying to improve on that when the Giants game rolls around, you know, that Sunday night, that you hope to improve on from now until that point?
Being a better leader, whether it's for my position group or for my team. Obviously, you know, being able to be the one that's count on when the game's on the line, you can always come to me, and I have help now. I mean, I've always had help, but you know, it's instilled now, and it's a point of attack. Like we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to come at you. So regardless if you like it or not, we're going to do best versus best, and we're going to see the best man win.
And how do you work on that leadership? How do you work on leadership?
Just come in every day with a great mindset. Can't really let anything that happen outside affect what goes on inside of the building. You know, leave all the personal issues, you know, out the door, and just coming in ready to work, ready to answer, ask questions, and once again be available for my team and step up.
What did you learn
about the softball game about your contract and where things stand and stuff? How much do you want to be involved in that process, or you just want to be told, hey, it's close, it's done, come in and
That's for my agent. I'm trying to play. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I love to do.
What did you learn about yourself last year when there were so many questions?
No doubt, good answer.
Be the number one guy, and then you seemed to flip that script right around the Packers game when there was outside talk about bringing in help.
I just used it as motivation. I heard pretty much everything that everyone was saying. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and therefore your opinion is based off how I play. You know what I'm saying? So going in every week, I know they're gonna want something to talk about. So therefore, why not just go out there and play my game and not really, worry about the outside noise, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Because I am human, but I also love to work. I'm trained, to play football, to catch footballs, to make plays. So with that being said, just going throughout the season, understanding that I'm entitled to all these narratives, and regardless of what I do on Saturday, I'm still the same player that I'm going to be the week before.
No doubt, man. That's always, man, a good way to approach this. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, it will always be some type of political agenda or some type of way to take a knock at what we do, right? It's like literally everybody else can have weapons, but when we do it, oh man, the Cowboys trying to buy a Super Bowl, right? Right? It's okay. It's cool for everyone else to have multiple weapons, but the moment we get someone, they analyze it and they say, okay, the Cowboys buying a Super Bowl, right? And unfortunately, that's not the case nor the scenario. It's like literally we can look back at this team, and this is no shade at the guys that was here last year, but literally we went into the season saying, all right, CeeDee Lamb, go make it happen, bro. This is what was his third season? Make it happen. And everyone else, they can get weapons. They can get extra pieces around it. But it will be to the degree whereas we do something slightly good with our guys that was the sixth option or the fifth option on the team, right? That they say, hey, man, there should be no excuses. Y'all had a loaded team. Noah Brown was turning the corner. He was being that dude. He was a good guy. He was a good guy in some games, right? And the list goes on and on. Whereas we literally seen a situation, whereas when we went and go grabbed an Amari Cooper, right? And we knew from seeing Amari Cooper that our numbers and stats for even Dak Prescott improved. But what people did was they always said, hey, man, the team was already loaded. You know what I'm saying? Nah. We only had that dude for a piece of 2018, and we had him for all of 2019. And then for 2020, the quarterback goes down. And for 2021, people were already not willing to have Amari Cooper on this team because of the narrative from the 4-letter and the 3-letter network, and as well as the own local media saying, hey, this guy give up on plays. This guy's not a 1,000% guy, right? When in actuality, no shade at my guy, Michael Gallup, but he's been healthier than Michael Gallup, but was considered more of an injury prone than Michael Gallup since he been here. But that's a whole nother storyline. Chris 214 says, CD was Batman, but had no Robin to pair with him. Right, Yeah, so it's one of those things, whereas we will always get hit with that. Even and I kind of joke with the Eagles with this all the time. I bring up the fact that, Jalen Hurts, phenomenal year last season. If you want to say that he's the best quarterback in the National Football League based off of what he did last year, go ahead, have that. You can have that cookie. But it's all about consistency. But I would tell you, would Jalen Hurts had the same type of year if you didn't have an A.J. Brown? Oh, Lord, here you go moving the goalposts. That's from their comment section, right? And I was sitting there like, what you mean? So you mean to tell me he would do the same if he would have kept Jalen Reagor and Smitty? Come on, man. No. Truth be told, you need weapons. You need help. But what the Cowboys collectively done was, in the last few years, we would go get a guy like a James Washington and say, hey, we are making moves. Just like what they did with Zach Pascal. if they were to stop at Zach Pascal, it would have been a situation like, hey, is that enough? Is that more and more weapons do you need? But the reality of it is that every team needs weapons. Every team needs philosophy and scheme. And we haven't been seeing that with the Dallas Cowboys. We get hyped up stuff. Oh, man, this guy's going to change the world. But in actuality, we need a complete team concept. And hopefully this will be this year for the Dallas Cowboys, having a complete team concept and knowing the reasons why. You have a guy to do a deep over and you have someone to come underneath for a drag, juxtaposed to let's go 4 curls. Let's be top 10 in rushing, but without a running identity. Right? I promise you last year, everyone, most of you guys knew when the Cowboys were running the ball. And none of you guys, and I'm not trying to count your money, let me know if you are making millions of dollars, but none of you guys were making millions of dollars, right? We can sit on our couch and say, Cowboys finna run out of this situation. Oh, in this formation, the Cowboys is exactly finna do that.
Contract for a second. Do you want to get it done before the season? So you wanted the distraction of negotiating during the season? Is there any?
Quite honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm not even distracted. Like the money, definitely worried about it, but it's not nothing that's really on my mind every day that I wake up or when I come to the building. I don't really think about how much money I'm gonna make if I do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just all about just coming in, showing my worth, and then the rest, let everything else handle itself.
I said the vibe is a little different also.
I got you.
I said the vibe is a little bit different also.
Once again, like I said, everybody's just able, like coming in very energetic. I can't really explain it. You just, once you walk in the building, I mean, obviously you're going to be tired. You get here at like 7 o'clock, and then just everybody just gel together. Our first thing is team meeting. 9 times out of 10, you see like 5, 10 guys on the training table, not hurt, or if they are hurt, taking care of their bodies. You'll see them vibing in the hot tub or in the sauna. Everybody just is a collective group. And then just as far as being available for the season, I feel like that's the biggest, thing. The biggest hit that a team could take is injuries, the injury bug. I had it my rookie year,
True.
and I really don't want to go through that again.
No, let it go, Wood, man. Appreciate my guy, man, for a phenomenal talk track right here. That is C.D. Lamb. And for references and context, to watch the entirety of that particular interview on DallasCowboys.com, be sure to check their YouTube page out there and help them grow. One of the best, out of 32 teams, I don't think that there is a better media crew than the Cowboys crew, right? There's one thing I can, say with the Cowboys front office. They have the hands-down best media crew in the people that's allowed in that building to ask those important questions. And shout out to Jane Slater, shout out to Aisha and Pat No C. Walker and Machota and Gelkin, all of those boys that's there, Clarence and Calvin, all of those boys, they do a great job, and gals, they do a great job over there at the .com side of it. And 105 as well, Bobby Belt and beyond. They all do they don't do a good job at all. They do a great job. Huh? How about that? They do a great job. C. Charm says, and I'm just paraphrasing because I was reading some of your content there. Let me ask y'all this. Organically speaking, because there is a notion to think that Dak Prescott gotten better because of Kellen Moore. Dak Prescott projections. Would he be Dak Prescott regardless of whether or not it was Kellen Moore or not? Organically speaking, would he been the same? Or even if he stayed pace on to what he was doing before Kellen Moore got the responsibilities as the play caller? Because he went from quarterback coach to play caller. And I'm only bringing this up because sometimes you can ride a wave with someone and you can get some of the ingredients of, hey, this was a good thing via Kellen Moore. Because in my opinion, Kellen Moore himself organically would be better. Every year, he's going to get better. It's not like he's going to get worse because you are taking someone with lack of experience, gaining experience. And this is what the 4-letter, the 3-letter network refused to say. That the Cowboys literally, and the guy by the name, I forgot his name at the tip of my tongue, he was on 105.3 The Fan, and his name is Tuck. His name is Tuck. Dang, man, I forgot this guy's name. He's an analyst. Is it tip of my tongue? Maybe you guys can remind me of his name. But he used to play for a few teams, and I think he's in Philly as an analyst or a beat writer, what have you. And he was saying that basically the Cowboys are number one in offense or number two respectfully because of Kellen Moore, right? But I'm going to tell you guys that organically speaking, hear me out, that was going to be the number anyhow, you know, because Ross Tucker, appreciate you. Not Justin Tucker, but I appreciate you. Yeah, Tuck Ross or something like that. He's a analyst, and I forgot for which network. But what I'm saying here is that even when I was on the round table with my guys, Louis T, Lloyd Brunson, Bad Dog, I meant to say, we talked about this, and basically, organically, just by nature of the law of average and the 100-hour law and all of those principles that Sean McVay as well as Kyle Shanahan, they were going to be better. They were going to get better. But they had this thing called a growing pain that you can't escape that. And you naturally got to go through that in order to be successful. How many people who witnessed this channel? I wasn't talking the same way 4 or 5 years ago, right? We didn't have all of the jazz on this channel 4 or 5 years ago, but organically and through nature of me going through the process, I've gotten better, right? We got better equipment. We became more knowledgeable of what time to go live, right? All of this stuff, if you contextualize it together, law is better. This version of law is better than the version of the 2018 law, right? Or the 2017 law or the 2016 law. So what I'm saying here is the Kellen Moore, the 2023 Kellen Moore should be better than the 2022. Plus, and I know I'm going to get people say, well, he's going to a better quarterback, law. No. He's just going to a place where he can take the information and knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the game and apply it. And the things that he didn't do well at, he can erase that, right? If he's not stubborn and silly, right? And if he's thinking big and not small, then he should be able to be better, to know not to do double reverses at the 25-yard line, right? You know. He should know not to go empty on 2nd and 20, right? Inside your own 20. He's going to be a whole lot better. And he's thinking with this.
You think small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big. Think big.
I just wanted to throw that in there. So he should be better, right? Organically speaking. But what people would do is they would take that bit of information and say, yeah, this guy's X, Y, and Z. And he's always been that, which was never the truth. And just like us right now, this was the same battle cry that we were going through with Jason Garrett. Peak Jason Garrett was 2014. That's when he peaked. How many years it took for him to get to that process. And he was still learning. In 2015, we were still sitting back here saying, hey, man, come on, Jason, what you doing here, man? Y'all get what I'm saying? But there was a process that he had to go through some growing pains as a head coach. Why were we held to that degree of going through the growing pains with him? Yes, we all love the Dallas Cowboys. We didn't turn our backs. We die hard around here. But we had to know that in 08, 09, 10, 11, that dude was still learning on the fly, right? Come on, y'all get what I'm saying. One can argue that he was still learning in 17, 18. The time that Jason Garrett supposedly get his first coaching offer to be a head coach, in my opinion, should have been around 2014, 15. If he went off to college, and coached maybe there and then went off to being an offensive coordinator somewhere in the National Football League, right around that time, 2014, 2015, he would have had enough experience. And who is allowed to say that? But I'm telling y'all, that's how it's supposed to go. But when you have a direct access of someone, the good old boy system, right? When someone bless you with unbelievable opportunities, you have to understand that there will be growing pains with that. That's just how it is. But here's my 1,000 truth, and I'm going to bring this up tonight. Even when, my guy, Brian Broadus, jump on. I'm going to say these things to Brian Broadus, that the expectations never change. It didn't change when we had Dave Campo, 5-11, 5-11. If the dog show was magnified in multiple of returns when we had Bill Parcells, because we were so ready to get back to the 90s then. The expectations didn't change. Whether you had Vinny Testaverde as the quarterback, Quincy Carter, Tupac or Biggie, or an undrafted guy by the name of Tony Romo as your quarterback. The expectations, Super Bowl, never change. The expectations now is not going to change. It's still Super Bowl or bust. And it is what it is. Cowboys philosophy has always been peanut butter with no jelly. Peanut butter with no jelly.
Give me my theme music.
You ain't lying. Yes, indeed. So in order you do some cultural changes, right? I've literally seen a coach go into a program and rip apart everything. And that guy that just said,
give me my theme music.
Prime, when he went to my school, he immediately set an expectations and deliver it. You know what I'm saying? His first year, he was like, everybody was like, yeah, man, they beating up on my J-State, man. Who is Prime? He ain't nothing, but he was writing notes. He was jotting things down. He was rebuilding, right? He went and got some better recruits. And just that second year and third year, shoot, nobody could stop Jackson State. People start whining and crying. I can't stand Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? You ain't swag, Literally, old boy, he's kind of right. You ain't swag. But he brought a lot to the table. He delivered the expectations by going out there and understanding that in order for me to get X, Y, and Z, I got to go get this and that. I got to bring the talent. By name alone, it would never happen. But the Cowboys would do just this. They would keep the same levels of talent and not elevate the coaching. Or they would get the elevations of talent and still have the subpar coaching. You won't be successful in life in that way. And that's just how it goes. Sam Jordan, shout out to you, and Justin Herbert too. Potential legend at QB. I feel you. Who else? We have Hector. Cowboys philosophy always been the same. Yeah, I read that one already. Any real fire behind LB Devin White coming to Cowboys? Carlos 2136. Appreciate you, Carlos. Los, I'm gonna tell you this, that we would like for him to be a part of this organization and franchise, right? We just talked about expectations, right? The expectations of going to the Super Bowl would be the same whether he's here or not, right? But the thing is, the Cowboys got to see the need, because here's the thing with the Cowboys. We still got to evaluate Overshown. We still got to evaluate Devin Harper. We still got to evaluate Jabril Cox, right? They are still leaning on they like their guys' philosophy, and that will be the conversation there. But speaking of that, let's listen to some of this audio. And this is how much money we got, by the way. $21.4 million, baby. That's a lot of coins. That ain't no cheap coins right there. And let's go to about right here. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this right here.
Crazy to me that anyone would think he's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, especially after doing this list and going down my rankings and thinking through it all. And Dak Prescott, since he was drafted 2016, 5th in QBR, his adjusted net yards per attempt, which is a good metric, it accounts for touchdowns and sacks, interceptions, basically. His career ANYA is 9th in NFL history. Now, some of that is, where we live in. He's right behind Tony Romo, hilariously. Another underrated Cowboys quarterback. The big ding on him right now, of course, is that last year he had the worst interception rate in football. But from 2016 through 2021, the first 5 years of his career, amongst all quarterbacks who started at least 50 games, he had the 5th lowest interception rate in football. He was tied with Drew Brees. Maybe something broke inside of his brain and this interception rate is going to continue, but I'm going to bet on the fact that for the previous 5 seasons, it was not a problem. So we don't have to be like the obsession with it. And there's multiple reasons for that. I've talked about them. Some of it is on the Cowboys receiver. Some of it's on Dak himself, I think, and the types of throws he tries to make. Yeah. But just expand your sample size and consider this dude's freaking career when he was fine. That's all I have to say about that.
So with that being said, who agrees with Mina Kimes? And who disagree? You can put that agreement down in the chat and let me know if you disagree. Let me know in the chat. I would tell you a lot of people are emotional damage. So what's good for the goose, good for the gander, right? You got to understand that we do have to bring up the broken thumb. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record of saying that, hey, these are the things that's tangible. These are the things that's intangible. But when I bring the intangible things out, and which clearly should be tangible, a lot of people look at that and like, you're wrong. But I got nothing but a lot of agreements with here. Oh my goodness, man. He did throw a lot of interceptions. You can't get away from that. Yep, those are his babies. He is what he is. So my thing is, how I like to box it together is, how do you win with that? How do you win with that? Either it's 2 ways we can look at it. We can look at that and say, man, it's a hindrance. Dak Prescott is a hindrance on this team. And say that we would never win with Dak Prescott because of his inefficiencies, right? And that could be the bottom line. Or you can sit back and say, how can I win with what I got, right? Growing up, we didn't grow up with the fortunes of most, right? And there will be times that we would look into the refrigerator, look into cabinets, and there would be no food. Mom, there's no food. And mom would literally say, there's plenty of food to eat. And we'd be like, me and my brothers, man, where? What do you mean? And then in the next 30 minutes to an hour, mama will whip up some food, and it would be delicioso. And we all black and we speaking, what I'm saying, Spanish over here. Because of the way that sometimes how to craft and take less and equals more. If you have wisdom and knowledge, you can take the things and find it and say, hey, these are the things that can be a nourishment to you, right? These are the things that will be beneficial to you. But what happened is that most of people have the fast food mentality. If it's not a fast food, if it's not a microwavable, right? An immediate, like a result that can happen quickly. then you will say, I have nothing. There's no instant this. There's no instant that. And I can say this, right? Marcus B says goulash was the normal in my house over the real food. Yeah, but look at you. You know what I'm saying? You can walk upright, and you can see good, and you can probably walk around this world knowing that life is an example of just like football, being able to take the small things and being able to apply it to win the major things. And it's all due to how you craft your team up. Now, granted, we can go back into history and we can point out, hey, you need an elite quarterback to win Super Bowls, etc. But what if I told y'all beautiful people that there are more non-elite quarterbacks with rings versus the elite quarterbacks, right? Truth be told, right? So it's all about how you can put your team together. Shout out to everybody. Sign Dalvin Cook equals Super Bowl, right? Depending on the money their brother want to, it depending on that too. I've seen campaigns of this weekend of Dez Bryant. He campaigning for Derrick Henry. Is that somebody you guys would like to have on this team? Josh Teaches from TJ Hudson, Josh Allen. Dak tied for an interception, but they only bring up Dak. And to add context to it, and this is the angle that they do bring up. They bring up the fact that, Dak Prescott played 5 less games, right? And he played 5 less games, and he's tied with him. But no one brings up, hey, the man had that broken thumb. That's just how it goes. Not like it was the season before last who was the interception leader, right? It wasn't brought up that much. And here's how I look at it, even with the INTs. The games that he threw the INTs in, what was his record? What was the overall record? Just because you throw interceptions doesn't mean that you lose the game. Now, clearly, we can bring up the Green Bay Packer game. We can bring up the Jacksonville Jaguar game. And we can throw in the 49ers game. Those are 3 games that, hey, he threw the interception, and it cost us dearly, right? Those are his babies. But it's crazy how the narrative could be that the interceptions get wiped away if a team wins. For example, in the playoffs, Law, he threw a many of interceptions, right? But it's not brought up because they won the game. But if it was the Dak Prescott, even if we won, they would still talk about the INTs. I can't make this stuff up. Still went 12-5 with 17 INTs, only 1 behind Buffalo. Yeah. And, I get it. I absolutely get it on people's angle of with Dak Prescott. I even heard it even in this video I posted.
Yeah! Turn it up, 90! Let's go, Bones! Hey, let's go, man. Our standard, our expectation. Let's go, 6'3".
Let's go.
Our standard, our expectation. Standard and expectations. Play to it every play. Every play got to turn into drives now. Let's go be our best. One play at a time. Be our best. Nothing more, nothing less. Just be your best.
Colonel.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Can't complain, man. No place you'd rather be. What about you? Hey, we're still going to win this. Stay in it. Stay in it. We're going to win this. We're going to win this. Stay in it. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. We're going to win this. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it, man. Hey, here we go. How great do we want to be now? How great do we want to be? Simple as that. Ask yourself. How great do we want to be now? Grab your nuts and go win a game, man.
He been listening to Queen. Grab your nuts and go let them hang, but grab them nuts and we'll go win this game. All right, so for context, we won that game, right? But that game was talked about as if though we lost the game, right? you see, we can't have stinkers and win, and people say, hey, man, what a noble, what a great comeback that this team was able to do to rally and build back up their confidence to win the game, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken, and granted, they won the doggone Super Bowl, but did the Colts, I think at one point, did they beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Y'all help me out. And nobody was like, hey, you know, what's going on with the Chiefs, you know? And I think that, you know, it got down to the winding minutes of the game for even the Eagles to beat the Colts. But when the Cowboys play the Colts, man, they better blow the hell out of the Colts. They better not, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's just how it goes, man. It's not going to be an easy street for us, right? We literally blew out the Vikings 40-3 or something like that. And there are literally people who would say that coach on the opposite end is better than Mike McCarthy. We blew them out. They will literally say that their quarterback is better than Dak Prescott. There are literally things that's out there that will say those type of things and utter those things, that the coach is better and the quarterback is better. But we blew them out 40-3. And if the shoe was on the other foot, I bet you my bottom dollar, if the Cowboys were to ever lose a game 40-3 last season, Mike McCarthy fired. Mike McCarthy would have been fired if we were to lose 40-3. It doesn't matter. The expectations for Mike McCarthy to keep his job last season, he had to win one playoff game. And I'm not trying to shortchange anybody, but that's just the reality of it, y'all. You know, they played the Chiefs hard. No one talks about that overtime. Yeah. Michelle, appreciate you. The Cowboys barely beat the Texans, right? And that's the whole point of my conversation, barely. But when people try to add in the context of it, offensive line, 4 out of the 5 guys were moved around like chess piece. You had the guy that was pretty much all pro. They made him all pro. Or rookie guy, an undrafted rookie guy, all pro. Nobody give credit to that. But it was a big moment for Kevontae Turpin. He played basketball with the football. Let me know if I'm lying, you know. But that's just how it goes. None of that counts because that's Dak Prescott's fault too, right? And the INT for Jalen Petrie bouncing off the phalanges in the chest and the body of Noah Brown. Y'all remember that? But it goes back to the quarterback. But the resilient nature of winning that game felt as if, though, it was a loss. I brought this up, I believe, on the round table with the four of us, NFC East. And I said the Cowboys all last year didn't lose back-to-back. Didn't lose back-to-back. And then they sit there and they thought, hey, are you sure? I said, yep. But it felt like it. The Cowboys felt like we were on a 3-game losing spree, a 6-game losing spree. 12-5 felt like 5-12. Just literally the thing there. All right, so let me see. I think I've seen some other updates with it. Let me see if I can read it right quick. Appreciate John Machota. Like I said, he's a real dog in this, and he always going to have some good stuff out here. Yep. Jerry says a key part of the off-season offense change, including Dak Prescott getting the ball out quicker in the passing game. Yeah, we can all say that. All right. I think I must have shared it on my end. Hold on, y'all bear with me. You know, we doing updates live here on Law Nation Sports. Live updates. News around the corner. Message ALX20. Jerry Jones, who's never say never, does concede that club signing wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is unlikely. Possible extensions for Dak Prescott, Terrence Steele, Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard. Jones wouldn't mind one or more being done before camp, but said not imperative. Okay. And then you see Mike Fisher right there with the Hawaiian shirt. Shout out to him. And basically, Jerry Jones. Jerry gonna be Jerry. Like I said, no other team, organization, and franchise got son and father, you know what I'm saying, out there talking about their moves and their expectations for the 2023 season. But you're going to get it from the Jones family. Go get them, Dak has an elongated motion. Yeah, it's a crazy motion. Jerry nonsense, I feel you. All right, so appreciate everybody for tuning in. We made it to the top of the hour. Let's go. Woo! Yes, indeed. So let me know the participation. Do you guys want me to continue to go forward? I can give you guys some few more content, or you guys want to listen to someone else. I can do this for hours. I'm like Money Long over here. Shout out to you, Keith. Appreciate you. Y'all wanna talk to me just for a few, because I haven't talked to you all in a minute. I felt like I didn't turn on the phone lines all last week, which I don't think I did. I don't think I did only one time. Let me know in the chat. You guys control the show from here, we got some people. I rock. Shout out to you. Says keep going. Al says yeah, keep going. Yes, indeed. So y'all like me a little bit, Hit my line, baby. Only the ones that's down for me now, Brought to you by Inside the Huddle. Let's go. 657-390-7391. Y'all jump on in. Grab your seats. Keep it going. Shout out to you, see. Keep it real, baby. Come on.
There is one other participant.
There's only one other participant. We go to lecture mode. Hey, did y'all see the hat Patrice sent me? Patrice sent me a nice hat right here, and it says nothing but the best on it. Yes, indeed. Boy, I'm telling you. Boy. Come on. Boy, this hat go hard, man. We're gonna have to give Overshawn one of these hats. Come on. Get on up there, baby. Let's go.
Had some more friends like my brothers, I can't trust it all. Same ones in your corner on the scene fall. Now I only need a
Banks, you're live, man. Talk to me, man.
Law, what's going on, man?
Man, all is well, bro. I can't complain, man. I'm chilling over here, man. I got my Law Nation hat on. We got to give Overshawn one of these hats. I heard old boy can sing and everything,
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, man. No, he probably sound like that. He can sing. You sure he don't sound like that dog?
Oh,
you gotta play that dog, Law.
I don't know if I got that dog in my loop, but I know what dog you talking about. Hold on. When you think you're sounding good, man, I'm gonna have to go find that dog now, man. When you think you're sounding good, but you don't. I'm gonna find that dog just for you, man. It's somewhere in my Rolodex over here.
Hey, look, man. Hey, man, listen. I ain't get to catch the show the other day, man. But I rewatched it. The live. Man, you was playing the. Well, man was talking to the fan. And he was asking me. He was saying, what was his name, man? He was like, do you think Mike McCarthy would have took the Vikings, won with that team last year, or the Giants?
Yeah, Ross Tucker is his name.
Man, I had to turn it. You're wrong. Yeah, man, I had to turn it off, man. It was making me hot, man. Like, the hell you think? Like, this man, a Super Bowl head coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, et cetera, et cetera. And, like, this dude a bum, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Man, I think they hate.
Had his issues, but
they hate Mike McCarthy over here, man.
They do, man.
He keep winning.
Like,
that's what it is. He keep winning.
Yeah, he keep winning. Like, I know he had 12, back-to-back 12-5 seasons, but That's
Right.
because when he said that's because Kellen Moore, I mean, I just went on past it, man, because I'm like, yeah, you don't know what the hell you talking about.
Man, come on, man.
That's because Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn. Come on, man. Like, yeah, I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it, man. You know what I mean? So I hope you show him this year, man. You know, I ain't never seen a coach got to prove himself. Like I tell everybody, they wanted Sean Payton. Mike McCarthy record, head coaching record is just as good as Sean Payton. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback just like Sean Payton.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People tend to forget of those bad years Sean Payton had with Drew Brees. People tend to forget those losing seasons he had.
79. Yup.
Yep, 79. People was asking, hey, is it time for Sean Payton to go? Is it time to be looking up, you know what I'm saying, elsewhere? So, people tend to forget that stuff, man. So,
But you know what?
That's all I got, man.
You know what? Before you rock Banks, here's the 1,000 truth with it all too. That interception that Drew Brees threw, that was a PI, really. You know what I'm saying? He had no business throwing it. All they had to do was run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. And also that, he's talking about, I put that as the Saints going to the Super Bowl. Like, really? Like, come on, man.
Right.
Like, you can't be that serious. You know what I mean? You know, they would play with the Rams. No, the thing about it is they shouldn't even have been in that situation in the first place if that was the case.
True.
They bring it down to the refs. That's how I look at it. So,
no doubt.
Yeah, man. That just shows you, how people just look at Sean Payton versus Mike McCarthy, man. Like, he's just put on this pedestal, and you know what I mean? I don't get it.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man, for calling in.
Find that dog, man.
Man, I'm going to find that dog, man. Appreciate you, bro. All right. So basically, and here's my 1,000 truths, because you guys been following the channel. Y'all know I wasn't even team Mike McCarthy year one. You remember? I didn't want Big Mike in the building. I was like, hey, man, what is he doing? And then I made a promise to you all. I'm going to give the man a mulligan. And if I said if he make it to the playoffs, that will be my goal for 2021. I just want him to get to the playoffs and see if we can be above what we were the previous year. And he won 12 games. And then the last year before the season kicked off, because remember, I had us going 13-4. Y'all remember that? Some of y'all was mad at me. But to make everything correct over here, that joker went 12-5. And we made it to the playoffs. And we won the playoff game. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that we shouldn't have the expectations of winning the Super Bowl, but dog it, we would have never done this with the previous administration. Appreciate you, Jay Lombardi. Shout out to you, man. To the laws. Boy, we outlaws over here, baby. Hey, now, baby, shoot, I'm outlaw. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my girl, man, Patrice. If she's in the chat, man, y'all be sure to check her out. DM her or figure out a way to get to her so we can give Overshawn one of these hats, man. You know what I'm saying? Let Overshawn rock one of these hats. And then when he rock one, then I'm quite sure somebody else gonna rock one, and then it's gonna spread like wildfire. You know what I'm saying? And whoever make these hats over here, boy, they gonna be. Look, he got everything on it, nothing but the best. Y'all see all of that on there? Boy, this hat good, boy. It feel good too. All right, JT, you're live from the 260.
What's good with it, Law?
Not much, man. Chilling.
So I find one thing interesting, Law, and it's something that you brought up. Like, can the media at large ever be objective, Law?
We wish they could be. We wish.
Like, here's the thing, Law. But one thing that's been kind of tripping me out lately, like, and I don't know if you have heard this narrative lately, but why are people treating this past season like Mahomes won by himself? Like, I don't understand.
Me neither.
A lot of people are starting that narrative and just like acting like, they're like, look, and I understand, like, I understand why, but like, the Chiefs run an air raid type of offense, and to have that type of offense, you need a wide receiver. Like, speed kills, Law. Like,
It do.
there may not be like a star recognizable face at the wide receiver position, but when you have decent receivers, or at least decent receivers who have blazing speed, and not to mention you have this guy named Travis Kelce, Law. Like, it seems like he gets overshadowed somehow.
He do. He do.
But we gotta stop this narrative, Law. Like, it doesn't really reflect truth, for one, because Travis Kelce is a beast. Like, the guy's wiggle is unlike anything I've ever seen, Law, from that position, Law.
Man, it's crazy, man. His ability, man. He's a wide receiver. He's a big, taller wide receiver. But I do like to give credit to EB too. Eric Bieniemy. He was able to put things in good positions for Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and that whole entire team. So, shout out to them, man, for thinking that all the way through, though.
Right. I think the other thing, like, and it's not just Mahomes. Like, there's a lot of these narratives popping up. Like, we have people, and I mean, it is a lot. Like, I forget the question. Not the question, but like the show was on, and they were saying like, who's a better quarterback between Dak and Jalen Hurts? Like, this question has been, and it's people literally laugh, and we act like, I feel like we're acting like the gap between these two guys, if there is a gap at all. Like, we act like Dak is an average quarterback. Like, the media literally treats him like he's just some quarterback that's just on a good team. Like, no, Dak is that guy. Like, he's that. To me, I feel like people forget, just not necessarily forget, because they probably know, but they just have to hate. So I guess that's a part of it, Law. Am I overreacting, Law?
No, man. It comes with the territory. Dak himself is going to have to do everything better than what he did the previous year. It's zero excuses only for him, because he can't throw 17 INTs, according to the NFL Network and according to the 4-ladder and 3-ladder network. So he's going to have to be spotless, without a blemish, in order for them to give any deed of respect for him. And I get it, because it's not just Dak Prescott. It's the own fan base. They were ridiculing Sully, the quarterback, because they don't believe in him, right? So it goes to that point. And unfortunately, it comes with the territory when you are a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, and okay, so I know you were kind of joking off some of that last part about how he has to be like a spotless quarterback.
Right.
Nobody can do that.
Nobody, yeah.
Well, no, but that's the thing with the media. This actually has been going on for years, Law, where the media has favorites, obviously, like we know that, and they have guys that they just can't stand. And that's just been a part of the media for, like, I don't even know how long, but, like, so there's the interesting thought experiment, Law. Like, if you ask a person who is the better quarterback between Dak, Burrow, and Josh Allen, like, a lot of people will rank Dak 3. But when you go back and look at their last 2 years, like Dak this past year, Allen this past year, and Burrow, I think it was 2 years ago, and look at their interception totals, it's basically the same. Like, Burrow threw 15, Allen threw 17, 18, Dak threw 17. Like, that's why I don't understand. Like, what is this narrative that, like, Dak is like this reckless quarterback who keeps turning over the ball, but we have quarterbacks who turn over the ball basically as much. Like, I don't understand the media narrative of calling those two guys elite, but saying Dak is a turnover-prone mid-quarterback. Like, I don't get the difference, Wrong.
Well, it's media-driven. So when you have, I've seen someone in the chat says middle-of-the-pack Dak. You know what I'm saying, Prescott. And that is a saying or a slogan that comes from Shay Sharp, right? So when you get nicknames and names and you talk about it, and they're, I think that from toe to toe, if you think of like people that goes to that discussion, to that debate table, that they're no different than me. I can go toe to toe with any of those boys. But by them having a larger network and being on a platform that's open to millions of people to take your saying and slogan and not to add context to it, then that is what absolutely happened. You know, just like what everybody believed Christopher Columbus discovered America, because that was taught to them, right? But in actuality, you can't discover something that's already here. So when you have an agenda and you have propaganda, those things become truths because it's spread out to the masses. You see what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah, but my thing is, though, like, I understand it. Like, people have to say stuff just to keep a certain narrative going and, like, have certain guys get angry at them. Like, it's clickbait media, basically, where you say something that is factually true, but it's not at the same time just because it lacks context. Like that.
Right.
And that's the other thing, Mom. Like, here's my question. Like, why does everybody feel like any piece of context is an excuse? Like, it's not. Like,
right.
Sometimes when you say something like that, I think people have to understand, like, what an excuse is. Like, excuses are something that's like just saying something just because something happened. Like, whereas context is just that. It's just context. It's like, because when you're reading a book, for example, Law, like,
right.
If you're reading a book and it says a certain line, but it cuts it off, it's like, because, like, it would be like if a novel is like 50 pages with just stats. And, like, you'd be like, okay, but, like, what does this mean? Like, you can't just say something and just, like, cut it off. Like, you have to, in order to get, like, the general public at large, like, to understand what you're saying, you have to include context. Like, there's no choice.
True.
Like, because that's how you get people to understand, like, okay, that's why that happened, or that's why this happened. Like, people want to know, Law.
People want to know, man. Shoot. And that's the one thing that people can't utter is the truth when they get viewed upon as a homer, or they get viewed upon as a person with negative connotations because they're telling you what the truth is. A lot of people don't want to accept the truth because the truth cuts and it hurts and it's the hardest pill to swallow. Appreciate you for calling in, JT.
Hey, Law Nation, stand up.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. That's my guy right there. And it's what's talked about the most, right? And we get that. We hear that all the time. We see that. And then people will take that and run with it, right? So what I'm going to say here is there's this excerpt. Shout out to my game day people. They're really good people, though, by the way. And they help sponsor some of these shows, too, over here. And they had a Q&A session. And pretty much it was like a walk-off series with CJ. And he was giving out his top 5. And they asked him, you know, and he's going to mention these quarterbacks right here. And I hope I got it right here. Hold on. Here you go.
All right, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I'm trying to think, dog.
Lamar?
Justin Fields.
Ooh, I like that.
I like Lamar, too. You got to go, bro, it's like, fam, it's hard, bro. It's a lot of dogs out there. So I respect everybody. Like Lamar, dog. I love Josh Allen game. Burrow probably one of my favorite. I think I'm out of my game to Burrow a lot. So, but yeah, I like all of them, man. For sure.
You got to give a contract to one guy: Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, or Joe Burrow. Who are you giving it to?
I'm going with Burrow.
Easy.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about it.
Nah, Burrow.
All right.
He dog.
So I'm not going to take away anything that young kid just said, right? Burrows is a dog. Burrows is that dude that made it to the Super Bowl. Burrow is a complete guy that elevated the Cincinnati Bengals from what they used to be at in the shadows, and now they're the most talked about team in the National Football League of them having this unbelievable quarterback. To the degree, whereas it took literally a fumble return from Sam Herbert to win that playoff game, but not a soul will mention that, right? Not a soul would mention, and I'm not taking away from Burrows because I'll be a fool to sit back here and say, hey, I wouldn't like Joe Burrows on my team, right? But at the same time, our team, pause, come on, put a pre-pause in it, we didn't suck enough, right, to be one of those teams to draft a quarterback that's in the earliest of the earliest rounds, like a first round overall pick or a second overall pick or a third overall pick. So I get all of that because the expectations, and also you got to add in the perceptions, because perception can literally be reality. Literally be reality. Give you the benefit of the doubt. Law, do you have any truths to that? Because here are the truths. There's no way the Cowboys would have been given the opportunity to start off 0-2 for the season and not be talked about and smeared upon and mocked about, hey, this person can't live up to the expectation. But for dog sure Cincinnati Bengals can, right? They can start off slow and still make it to the playoffs without it being questioned at all. They can have some hiccups and you can see some droppage in some games when their star wide receiver is hurt and injured and given a chance and the reasons of why they lost the game. Whereas we don't have that over here, unfortunately. And that's just what it is. So Dak Prescott, the expectations of him was always being compared to the person that was drafted in the first. Law, do you have any truth to this? Yeah. When Dak Prescott his rookie year and the second year and his third year, he was compared to Goff. Where was Goff drafted at? He was compared to Wentz. Where was Wentz drafted at, right? And everybody forgot about Paxton Lynch, right? Who we might have drafted if things didn't shake out the way it went, right? But it is what it is. The levels of expectations from the Cowboys end was still Super Bowl. Granted, that's just how we got to deal with this particular situation when you're rooting for a team called the Dallas Cowboys. From the 206, I got my dog, my brother from another mother. MJ, you live. Talk to me, man.
What's the word, family?
Oh, man, it's you, man. You the word right now, man. Talk to me, man.
Big that game, I hear you. Oh, no, I'm just listening to you. You make sense. I'm like, everybody acting like McCarthy's a bum.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. The dude won a Super Bowl. He made all his quarterbacks look good. And he know the West Coast offense good, so all of a sudden, he's like he's done. Now, it's like you won a Super Bowl, and Marv still trying to win a Super Bowl, and Marv still trying to get his offense past regular defense, and I can't do it, but you won a Super Bowl. But I'm the man, and then you got one guy, this is from Philly, you know, he got in there because if we, when the loss against Green Bay and the Jaguars, we would have the same record, and we'd have won the NFC.
True, I remember that. Yep.
See, the Cowboys had a chance, even though we supposed to have a mediocre season. And we had the lead on both teams by 14, 17 points, and threw a goose egg, dropped the ball. So we ain't got no. You can't blame. You got that's a whole team failure. But the offensive coordinator done himself. Want to be Video King Raheem?
Break it down.
You know, you got to know how to. You know, sometimes you got to know how to run that clock too. If you run that clock wrong, you're gonna end up.
Boy, you know what I thought you were gonna say, man? It'll fit right on it. You gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up. Yeah, baby.
Man, but I'm just surprised. And then the guy only had one really bad year of throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
First year, I think he threw 4 interceptions in his first year. And then, you know, he started getting more. They started telling him to whip it. Then his interception went to 8 to 10. You know, that's normal. That's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
good,
that's
8 to
normal.
10
Yeah.
interceptions. And then last year, he finally had that bad, you know, it bounced off of not 8 interceptions with some of the receivers hit him right in the hand.
Yeah.
And the interception. You can't blame that on the quarterback. You know, like I said, me and you and every person that's listening, we, like I tell you, I get mad at my quarterback because I know the guy's really good.
Right.
I get mad when he don't do like he's supposed to. Like back in the 2, run the ball yourself, Dak. Don't take no chance.
Yeah, he gonna have to do that. And I believe, MJ, what we both been saying is that he ain't faultless now. He have his he got his lumps in the coal too. So at the end of the day, that's what we were talking about. Whereas it's peer to peer. There's no growth in comfort. You're gonna have to have that rugged area in order to pull some of those things that you're inefficient at, right? Diamonds are not just made in cool temperature. Diamonds are made in triple heat, right? Diamonds are not made in comfortable situations, nor is gold. You're going to have to get some stuff going in order for someone to be better and be the best.
And the Cowboy Nation, you got to be, I'm going to tell y'all, Cowboy Nation, there's a lot of quarterbacks. And I'm going to put this out there. They got drafted between Tony Romo and Dak Prescott.
Right.
Without them two teams, without them two quarterbacks, guys, we could talk all the smack we want about both of them. We wouldn't even be in a competition. We'd be like the Detroit or somebody else, 2-20, 2-15. I mean, 2-14, 3-9. You know, real bad records for the last 30 years. But at least, even with sorry coaching, we have chances to win our conference 8-8, 12-4, 13-3. And 12-4 and 13-3, that's when we should have went to the Super Bowl. But like I say, the big head, I call him Big Head Johnson, a traitor. We drafted him with the bad eye. He wasn't even going to get drafted, and the Cowboys took a chance on him. Mr. Canty, if you listen, this you want to hate, and you finally won a Super Bowl, and you choked against the Giants when Romo had us in the lead, and you gave up a touchdown with 65 seconds left. The dude drove 75 yards with 60 seconds before halftime. That changed the momentum. And then 84, Big Mouth Clay dropped the pass going across the field would have been a 60-yard touchdown. So don't talk that smack. You know, we have to have players that come to the Cowboys. When they put on that blue, they choke. You know, they choke. They choke, dog. We got some choke. Now,
no doubt, man. I appreciate you, MJ, man. I thank you for your knowledge of the game and pulling back that painful history moment there. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
How about Love Nation? And let's hit them likes. Let's go, Cowboys. Let's get this Super Bowl.
No doubt, man. No doubt. All right, I want y'all to pay attention to this, man. And he was a phenomenal caller. But we do it to ourselves every time. 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 Let me pull my Umar Johnson when he repeat things multiple times. There's a narrative that's going out that's pretty much from our own local media. And I'm not throwing any shade or salt at those boys. But they trying to get a storyline together on the need of pushing for DeAndre Hopkins. And everybody just sit back, watch. They're going to continue to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. So if anything goes south of what all wide receivers do, they're going to bring up, you could have had a chance to go get DeAndre Hopkins. Why the front office is not pursuing DeAndre Hopkins. And there's no shade at DeAndre Hopkins, nor the media. But God dog it, stop trying to create the storyline of us needing a DeAndre Hopkins. Why do you have to lean on to saying, hey, the Cowboys wide receiver situation, why not go get DeAndre Hopkins? There are other things that the Cowboys need or should be pursuing versus them continue to ask the same question over and over and over again so that they can get some type of reaction from the front office and how they're thinking in their process. For the last 2 weeks, they've been asking the same doggone question. DeAndre Hopkins, they asked the coach, Mike McCarthy, do you think about getting DeAndre Hopkins, putting that man into a situation of not sullying or denigrating, but also tiptoeing through the whole philosophy of not putting down his own guys before giving them a chance and an opportunity of saying that, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is a good guy. Oh, yes, he's good. But right now we're focusing in on our own guys. And they asked the same question again today. Hey, Stephen Jones, man, we'd like to know if you are any thoughts of being in the runnings for DeAndre Hopkins. No other team, organization, franchise, fan base, or beat writers are going to continue to ask questions about DeAndre Hopkins. But here in the beautiful, wonderful Cowboys land, we're going to ask questions about DeAndre Hopkins. Now, granted, I wouldn't mind DeAndre Hopkins being here, but at this point, I can't wait for him to sign for a team or to a team, right? So that we don't have to be asked or hearing the question of, will DeAndre Hopkins play for the Dallas Cowboys? And did you mention that DeAndre Hopkins, too, said in his top 5 teams that he would like to go to and play for? He didn't mention Dak Prescott and how they would tie in to any success Dak Prescott have or non-success Dak Prescott have, because it will be a footnote and a timestamp so that you can go back and talk about those things. I'm tired of it, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 super chats. Caston Cowboy says, Law, our fan base, and let me see if I can find it way up here before it slipped my mind. Appreciate you. He says, Law, our fan base could barely handle losing 5 games last year. They could never handle losing bad enough to draft a QB number 1 overall. You ain't lying. Shoot. You ain't lying at all on that. But let me. Yeah, get on up there, you know. It is what it is. We can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? I want the truth. You can't handle that. So you got to suck real bad to get those top 5 or number 1, number 2 pick respectfully. And even at that time frame, thank God that when the last time we were suckable enough, we went and drafted Ezekiel Elliott. And that's a whole nother storyline there. But I promise you, I'm glad that we didn't trade up to go get a Jared Goff or even a Carson Wentz, because just because you draft up well doesn't mean that those guys are going to be able to get you there. So I do agree with that stance there, but we will overreact, and it will be always that. But I appreciate you. And they got another super chat from Sanjay. He says, why do content creators bring up Pollard injuries as a reason not to pay him and cast doubt on his production, but then began to yell out that this is a top O-line with always broken down Tyron Smith? Let me read that. I got my hooked on funny guy. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. You know what I mean? He says, why do content creators bring up Tony Pollard, bring out his old name, injury as a reason not to pay him and cast doubt on his production, but then began to yell out, this is a top offensive line with always a broken down Tyron Smith? Sanjay, I'm trying to connect the dots, man. I'm trying to figure out what you're implying. Let me say this again. Are you saying that why are we bringing up Tony Pollard's money, but or overall production, but also yelling out the fact that his offensive line is not up to snuff, especially with Tyron Smith injury? especially with Tyron Smith, with the possibility and the capabilities of not playing the full 17 weeks, that injury will come. Tony Pollard, the offensive line, I think it's a conundrum. On one end, we can all argue that offensive line play in the last 2 years been up and down, but we can also contextualize the fact that offensive line injury been main part of the reason. So whatever we get out of run game been a plus for us, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott or Tony Pollard, for them to display any type of good stuff or good metrics as it relates to run game have to be phenomenal due to the fact that this offensive line been hit with a slew of injuries and a slew of the unknown as it relates to Kellen Moore. But Sanjay, I'm going to say this right quick, that the Cowboys should have paid Tony Pollard last season, and he should be in his second year of his contract, and he should be recovering, and we should not have to rush him, because what will happen now is that when you put the franchise tag on said Tony Pollard, the expectation will be he got to generate either the same amount of production that he did last season or better. The moment that he give us anything less than what he presented last year, people are going to riot and say not pay the man. So when you put that franchise tag on someone that's $10 million or close to $11 million, that's numb. You can't prorate the money. And the Cowboys' levels of expectations will be that they going to want more production. If you think I'm lying, look at what happened to Dalton Schultz. Appreciate you, though. And as far as this offensive line, if we were top 10 in rushing without a precise plan of action, all I can hope for, and this is me saying the word hope, is for, dare I say once again, Mike Solari and Shotty to present a tangible running approach so that these boys can have a legitimate run game. Because we were top 10 in rushing without a plan. We ran out of the shotgun, But hopefully this offensive line with a plan will be presented better. And with efficiency, we should see less injury, believe it or not. Patrice says, come through. Hat, I love it. Appreciate you. Let's go. Appreciate you, Patrice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rojo is a bum. Shoutout. Well, we'll find out, Choctaw, my dog, man. Appreciate you, man. I thank everybody, man, for this beautiful episode, man. Y'all be sure to hit that like, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Don't y'all know that we all going through things as it relates to this Cowboys organization. We want to win. We want to win the Super Bowl every year. And without a shadow of a doubt, I think a third of you guys felt as if though we should have won a Super Bowl every year, right? But the reality of it is that it's hard to win that trophy. And you can't just win it with one person. It takes a complete team. And I said this earlier, team. Together, everyone achieves more. I think that's the acronym of it. And if we can get those things together, and if everybody can be on the same page, baby, woo! Some fabulous things can happen. But don't put it all on one person. Let's put it on the team. Let's have a plan of action. Let's get ready for war, baby. Let's get ready for concepts to be introduced to this team. Principles to be introduced to this team. When you're having a guy shoot through the A gap or the B gap or somebody streaming off the C untouched, that we have our hots, we have our reads already there, baby. We have everything in store, ready for us to eat, ready for us to take action, take control, one way or another, Cowboy Nation. And that all happens when everyone is on the same page and not pointing fingers and not having a different philosophy, not having a different tune. And finally, Mike McCarthy, he got at least someone to think just like him as it relates to West Coast principles and opportunity. It's no more digit system. It's no more saying that, hey, I don't like these comeback routes, these stop routes, and then for you to see it again. It's no more of us being up by 14 points and they continue to throw the ball when all you have to do is run the ball. It's no more of that. It's principles, it's concepts, it's all of those things together, Cowboy Nation. And y'all say this with me. Shout out to you, Gina. She said it is. Together, everyone achieves more. That is the concept of team. Appreciate you, Gina. But write these things down. And it's about dedication, discipline, determination, consistency. You got to have that. But if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan, and lose all terror of your mind. Oh yes, your mind. If you would just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or famish, or fame, or sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty, guess what, Cowboy Nation? You will get it. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. We up. Let's go.
Damn.
Let's go.
Whoa.
Give me my theme music.
Hey! Oh. Come on. Hey. Roll those crates.
Can I check or something? I've been really in the field, let up, yeah.
Come on.
I've been really in the field, let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Hey.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on. Shout out to you, Sadiq, SL, Big Gibbs in the house. Appreciate you, Chris 214, Randy, Caston, Sanjay, Patrice. Thank you for the hat. Y'all check out Patrice. She can give you information on that hat. Will Hanley, appreciate you. And all of the members, Ed, Steve, and John Jones. Tell Jerry to open up that playbook for me, man. Oh, my bad, not playbook, pocketbook. Tell Jerry, man, I know you related to him. Come on.
You switch size off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. Damn. I've been really in the field, let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Go get that bird.
I make the deal, I have to
got him.
take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Hey. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna
Lately, that's what I want to do. Run it up, baby.
Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah.
See y'all later on tonight, man. It may be some more content throughout the day. Y'all know how it goes. Hit that Like button, notification, swat up.
I be in zones alone. I be on road alone. I be really in the field, like a rush.
Until next time, DC for life. If I offended anyone, charge it to the head, not the heart. Yup.